Warning. This podcast may contain strong languages for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. You're such a dork. I'm going to put that in the bloopers.
Excellent.
Bye, babe. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is the B13 NerdCast of Randomness. I'm your host, Brandon Belanger, and this is the podcast where we talk about everything and anything. And guys, I have another guest, and it's none other than one of my other best friends, part of the, I guess you could say, the Three Musketeers, along with Zach. Chris, can I say your middle name?
Yeah.
Chris Payne.
Hi.
Doing, How you doing, buddy?
Good. How's it going today?
It's going good. It's going good. So, how long have we been friends for, man?
Jeez. 11, 12 years?
12 years, because we met in October of 2010.
Halloween of 2010.
Halloween, exactly. October 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a memory to remember. A day to remember. Anyways, so do you want to explain how we first met?
Let me see if I can dig that up in my memory here. I think it all happened in Nashua.
Yep. Hometown.
At a basement party.
Yep.
At a basement party.
And it was a girl I was dating.
That it was. And we met on a pool table.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
like that. Not like that.
Not like that. Just saying.
And it just started from there. I mean, it was basically just the most random meeting that you could ever possibly think of.
The one way we interacted, guys, was this. Ready? That's how we interacted. That's how we first met. But that party was very... For a bunch of teenagers, it was a bunch of teenagers just doing crazy things, and I feel like everyone was like...
It was a makeout party.
It was a makeout party, especially people that did not know each other.
Yeah.
It was insane, and it was a party that we will never, ever forget. And don't worry, for the person for the party that it was at, I guarantee the person who ran that party, or was, what's the word for it? Who was running the party?
The host.
The host of the party is probably watching this, so we will not throw your name and throw you under the bus.
It was a cool party, though.
It was a cool party, but it was a total makeout sesh. Because didn't you have a friend that you went with, and he met this girl, and they didn't even know each other, and they're already, like, making out the first time they're meeting?
Yeah, of course.
That's weird. So weird.
What else are you going to do?
Exactly. Just make out with each other. How come we didn't make out with each other in that party?
I know.
Because you were dating someone?
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm just terrible.
It was terrible. But that was the first time we ever met, and then we just became good friends ever since then.
Yep. We walked home, ate some pizza.
Yep. Went to Denny's so many freaking times. That was like our get-to. And we had a waitress named... do you remember our waitress's name? It was Terry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Terry? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, no, definitely that was one of the first interactions we met. What made us continuing on our friendship after that? Because you figured like something like that would just be like a one meeting and be like, oh yeah, see you next time, whatever. And so how did we just continue on being friends after that? Do you remember?
I think it was like a natural click. Like, it's just basically our personalities, you know? Just goofy enough to cooperate, I guess.
You were more into the music scene. I was more into the TV scene.
Yeah, but that's all good.
Yeah. But I was, there are times I tell Zach this, and I tell you this sometimes, and I'm just like, when you guys are when we're all three of us are with each other, you guys have something in common. Then when we talk about stuff, I'm like, I don't know what to talk about with you guys because you guys know more about music than I do. So sometimes I feel like an outcast, but it's like, it is what it is. But, okay. So, you went to Alvern High School.
Yeah.
You went to Hudson. That's where you were living at. Is that where you were born to?
No, I was born in, like most people, Lowell.
Lowell? Oh, jeez. How was Lowell like?
I don't remember. We moved when I was like 3, so
Oh,
couldn't have been that bad. I'm still alive.
Ah, and you're a good-looking kid. So I met you when you were you a junior in high school when I first met you, or were you a senior? Junior, right?
Junior, I think.
Yeah. And, yeah, you went to school in Hudson, and then you graduated in 2011.
2012.
And I remember during the time, you were trying to find a job. And I remember the time
another good story.
Yeah, so you want to tell them about that story?
I think you should go first.
All right. So I was working at a job called Savers for a solid almost year. It was my first full-time job. And I ended up getting fired for a legit reason because I got into a fight with somebody. Pretty much ended it at that point, but I was young and stupid at the time. So for a good, I want to say like 2 months, I was out of a job and I really needed something. So they were having a job fair at the good old Christmas tree shop. So Chris was 17 at the time, about to be 18. He was still in school, and he decided to skip school to go to this job fair with me. And
I didn't skip the whole day. I still went in. I went back into school, still in my interview clothes.
But how is that possible?
I was sick as far as I can. Like, I was sick, and then I just got better.
Really?
Yeah, just in a matter of 5 hours.
I just don't get how you can get back into school after you just like skip maybe like the first 2 like classes.
Oh, I skipped the first 5.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at your school you guys had 7 periods or 7 blocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, our school we only had 4. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you skipped school just to try to get a job.
And I didn't even get it.
I know, and I called you and I was like, "Hey, did you get a call back?" "No." "Did
No.
you?" And I was like,
No.
"Yeah." "Did you get the job?" "Yes." "Thanks, Brandon." But the first job you end up working for after you graduated high school was... Am I allowed to say this now because you don't work there anymore?
Yeah, I guess.
He worked at Walmart for a very long time, but you should probably explain to the people what it was like working at Walmart because they probably think it's the easiest job.
I mean, it's not the hardest job. You just have to have a lot of patience and tolerance and, there's nothing more that I can say that's not terrible.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is I started on overnights for 4 years, and when you're working third shift, your perspective on life kind of changes.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
Not for 4 years at least.
And you did pretty much the same job I'm doing, which is like stocking shelves pretty much the entire time, running the back room.
Yep, it went from stocking shelves to back room to supervisor, and then at that point I switched to days because I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Supervised for a couple years after that.
And you were going to school full time while you're working full time.
I earned my bachelor's degree as soon as I went to days.
Yeah. But the real question I have is, I talk about it with everybody. I'm always like, you know what? There's a guy you should guys look up at. His name is Chris Payne. Hardest worker I've ever met. And I said that, of course, we had a few beers, but like, everything I said was true. Like, you're probably one of the hardest workers I ever met. You worked overnights full time. You went to school full time. Did that for 4 years. How the hell did you do it, is my question. How did you manage that? Plus, with the relationship you were in at the time, how did you manage all that?
Not very well. It was a lot of sleepless days.
Yeah.
It was not very good time management. Looking back on it, I didn't spend enough time on the priority things, you know what I mean? Like friends and family and the relationship and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But, I mean,
you hung out with me and Zach at reasonable times. I mean, we try not to... We get it, like, work gets in the way, college gets in the way, life gets in the way.
Yeah, and, especially now.
Yeah, and especially now. I mean, us being close to, like, 30. I don't want to talk about it. I try not to, like, ask you, like, hey, are you down to hang out? Because I knew you had, like, a lot of, like, a busy schedule. But it was somehow you actually didn't manage to make time to hang out with me and Zach. So it was just, like, what days at that time were, like, the best days to hang out with you at the time.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just crazy you did that for 4 years, man. 4 years.
I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, you're still doing it. You're still in school, aren't you?
It's on break right now, but I mean, I wouldn't do it right now.
Going to get your master's degrees just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, just because I'm bored.
Oh my god.
Just put myself in all that debt.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. What was your most memorable moment at the Belanger household that you could think of?
Oh, jeez. Ooh, wow, that's the one that just came to mind right now. Maybe not the most memorable, but it's the one that hit me instantly.
Oh, God.
It was your backyard. I think it was either your 19th or your 20th birthday. I think it was 20th. The backyard wrestling party.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was my 19th birthday party.
I remember that one.
Oh, God.
Vividly.
Vividly?
Yes.
You weren't even drinking. How do you vividly remember that?
Nobody was drinking at that party.
Exactly.
Brandon, right?
It was a sober birthday party.
Yeah, because I remember one of the things that was there was this non-alcoholic jungle juice.
Yeah.
In this huge container, and it was leaking all over the place.
Yeah.
And I remember it just kept leaking and leaking and leaking and leaking.
Yeah.
And I remember the decorations. I remember like all of us trying to set up those paper things.
Oh yeah.
Whatever they're called. I don't remember. It was just a very interesting party, especially with all of the wrestlers.
Yeah. My God, wrestlers, quote unquote. No, that was an interesting party. I think at the time, and I think I haven't really talked about it with you. Well, I have talked about it with you and Zach. At that time, I was hanging out with a bunch of different people at the time. So during that point in time, I was trying to interact with everybody as best as I could and try to get everyone like together. And you have to think the people I was hanging out with, in non mean way. Mm-hmm. Everyone was kind of like an outcast. When you think about it, we all had that in common. And I was trying to get us like all together, just trying to have a good time, trying to all get to know each other. But at that time, I didn't realize that a lot of people didn't know each other. A lot of people probably felt, kind of like...
Yeah, like who are these people?
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable and all that.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll say it right here on camera. I'm sorry that I did that to you so many times back in the day, dude.
It's all good.
I'm surprised you're still friends with me after all those years.
It's all good, man.
It's just
everybody always makes mistakes when they're younger.
Well, let's talk about all those mistakes I've done. I didn't get my license until I was about almost 22, and I didn't start driving until I was pretty much 23 when I got my first car. You and Zach had to drive me around a lot.
It's all good.
But there were times I would tell you to drive me to different girls' houses, man.
I don't remember too many of them, but I remember there was one that we went to Denny's with afterwards.
We went to Denny's?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that far back.
I don't remember too much of it. That's the only thing I remember. We went there. We picked whomever it was up. Went to Denny's.
Yeah.
It was kind of like an awkward silence kind of dinner.
Yeah.
It was at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
We went home.
I felt bad because, like, honestly, like, I always, and again, I'm admitting this, I always thought about myself before others. And I remember, like, with Zach, I tried to be like, oh, yeah, Zach, come and party with us. And he didn't feel comfortable because he had anxiety with meeting new people. So when he told me that, it was kind of like an eye-opener. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do that with Chris, too. So every time I'm like, hey, there's going to be some people that you may not know. Are you going to feel comfortable going? And I always ask that between you, and I always ask that between him now because I want to respect your guys' needs.
Right.
Back then, it was all about getting partied and getting fucked up and just partying with people that I really don't hang out with besides you and Zach because I hung out with you guys all the time. But
well, of course, it's all parties.
It was all parties. It was all parties. And we used to get drunk a lot. A lot of times. But we won't get into full detail because, again, we need Zach for those specific stories.
I agree.
But
every perspective.
Every perspective in the word. But is there... I know there's one party I know you probably want to talk about a little bit, which is the legendary 21st birthday party, probably.
Let's save all the bad stories about that party till Zach's here.
All right, fair enough. Which is not going to happen tonight. It's going to happen another time. So the question is, when you did go to college, let's get back to you. Let's talk about like all the serious stuff. Mm-hmm. So at the time, when you were going to work full time and you were going to school full time, what did you want to do exactly?
Mostly I wanted to do something in the IT related field. Like, obviously not, like manufacturing or anything like that, but something that you can actually create something within the technology world.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I always dreamed of like something like bioengineering or something along those lines. Data architecture, something, something.
And sorry to interrupt, but when it came to like schooling, were you like happy to go to college? Like, were you always like a school type of a guy? Would you say, or?
I would say I like learning more than the actual school aspect.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with college, I mean, most of the time you're gonna pass everything because the instructors are just gonna pass or fail you. That's just how most colleges work. At least the one I am on pause with. That's what they do. It's mostly pass or fail, but. I mean, I think the grading aspect turns a lot of people off because if you fail a class, you have to pay for it again. So
now, and hopefully this isn't too much of a personal question. So when you went to school for what you went to school for, was it because you really wanted to do the job you wanted to do, or was it just trying to find something that made a decent amount of money so you could have a decent living?
I mean, realistically, let's be honest, both, but mostly it's just something I've always had an interest in. I mean, my father was always into like building PCs and working with software. He was in the IT field.
Yeah. So
from a young age, I already started, doing all the computer stuff, and obviously at a young age, not like the advanced stuff. Like I was just making like folders and stuff,
And you're doing well for yourself now, man. I mean, you got a nice, real, like, full-time job. I mean, not saying Walmart wasn't a full-time job, but, like, you actually, like, went to school and you're doing something, and I'm proud of you, man, to be completely honest. Like, you came a long way. You got a nice girlfriend you've been with for 5 years now. You got a house, which I'm jealous of. Definitely been working a lot on that house, I know.
Yeah, it's a project that just doesn't stop.
But it looks like you got a lot of it done for when I picked you up earlier, though.
Yeah. It's just little steps, man, baby steps.
Yeah, and definitely going to work on that basement.
Yeah, the basement. Got to do something down there.
Trying to make it taller, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so we can actually go down there. That'd be nice.
I think I asked you, and I'm not going to say the word because I think it's offensive. I think I asked you if they had like little people that were living there by any chance, because I remember when I went up the stairs and I go into the room and I'm a tall guy, I remember I had to like bend down a couple of times. Do you remember like any history of anybody that lived there at one point in any way, shape, or form?
No, they never had any distinct people. Yeah, like they didn't have any descriptions of people or anything. I think it's just an older house because it was built in 54. And it's one of those Cape style homes, so it's literally like the 45-degree angle ceilings in the second floor.
Fair enough.
And I've banged my head on that so many times. It's so obnoxious.
Because you're a tall guy too.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious. Because that's where my work from home setup is. So every time I sit up, it's just bang right off.
And you're still working from home during the whole COVID situation?
Oh, yeah. It's work from home permanently.
Oh, is it permanently?
Permanently.
Kat's doing the same thing. She's working from upstairs every day. And...
I mean, it has its ups and downs. I mean, the biggest up, personally, for me is you get your own executive bathroom.
Yeah.
No public bathrooms anymore. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, it's COVID.
Save a ton on gas.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about some fun, interesting things about your personality. I'm not going to say you have a punk rock or a hip hop or a type of look in any way, shape, or form, because
I just exist at this point.
Yeah, like honestly, well, you got to think back in high school. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm into ICP, so I'm a juggalo," or "Hey, I'm into rock music, so I'm a rock star," or "I'm a punk," or whatever. But I feel like whoever you are is what you are. You don't need to have a title to it.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely different 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. You were definitely an emo kid probably back in the day, would you say?
Yeah, Hot Topic style.
Hot Topic style. Blackfield Brides.
Oh, hell yeah.
Favorite band, huh?
Not favorite band, but boy, it was there. It was there.
The hair, the trip pants. Actually, that's how it's bad that I remember what you were wearing when we first met.
Yeah, I still remember.
But
trip pants,
black and purple.
Yeah, I don't remember the shoes.
I think they were just basic band shoes. Oh no, they were the fucking checkered ones.
Oh yeah.
I used to call them the Corey Taylor checkered shoes because he wore those shoes during You know who Corey Taylor is, of course, from Slipknot. He wore it from Before I Forget music video, and I was like, it's Corey Taylor! Skinnier version! Because he's like all fucking jacked up and shit. But yeah, you were wearing a Black Veil Bride shirt, checkered shoes, and you were wearing trip pants.
Yep, and a checkered overshirt type deal.
Oh my god. So pretty much the type of music I could say you listen to would be pop punk.
Yeah.
And have you been to what the hell is it? It's the band. What the hell
Warped
is
Tour.
it? Warped Tour. Have you been to Warped Tour before?
Just once. I mean,
once.
It was all right. I mean,
nothing
nothing special.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing. I mean.
Well, you gotta think, when I worked at the mall at the time, and I worked at like Hot Topic or Spencer's or FYE, that was like the thing to go to at the time.
Yeah, because you're in the scene of all the music and the music industry. I mean, it's front facing to you.
That's perfect. Perfect sounding.
Excellent.
All right. And
nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We made out.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not looking at the camera lens. I'm looking at the wall right now.
We were only gone for 3 to 5 minutes.
Why you gotta tell people how long I last? God damn it.
Don't worry. We have it in common.
Yeah, I know. But back to the music thing.
Yes.
Okay. And yes, I'm going to put that on there, so don't think I'm going to edit that part out. So, the music scene, we were talking about Warped Tour. You said it was all right. Why was it all right? Because I know Zach, as we know, is really into music, so I'm sure for him, like, Warped Tour is like, oh, shit, this is actually a pretty cool environment. Why was it just okay for you?
I mean, one thing about me is I don't really like crowds.
Fair enough.
Like, especially like crazy crowds.
Yeah.
In Warped Tour, it's just crazy crowds all at the stages.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, not near the stages, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it was, like, one of those things where you're just alone in the back, just watching the shows, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
However, it was, like, 100 degrees out in a parking lot.
Damn. And they didn't have seats. It was, like, all, like, general admission type of tickets that they were selling, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all... I mean, they had, like... It was at the Mansfield Arena.
Mansfield Arena.
I don't remember what it's called. Foxborough, whatever.
Oh, the Xfinity Center?
I think so.
Is that what it was?
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I think whatever.
And you only went there to really go see Sum 41 at the time, right?
Yeah, Sum 41. I did see Bring Me the Horizon, Yellow Card.
I saw Yellow Card too with Zach.
Nice.
We went to, where the fuck was it? It was the House of Blues in Boston.
Oh, nice.
I almost died. In a
that
mosh
sounds
pit.
about right.
A mosh pit at a Yellow Card concert, and Zach saved my life. Shout out to Zach. Thank you, sir.
I hope you talked about that story.
Oh, you know what? I can't remember if we talked about it on the first episode of the podcast. But yeah, if you don't mind, if you want to hear this story real quick.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So we were at a Yellow Card concert back in 2012. So, of course, the House of Blues, they do have, like, seats up in the balconies, but it's mostly general admission on the floor. You've been to the House of Blues before, right?
A while ago.
Like a long time ago. So, we were general admission. We were on the floor, and for some odd reason, at a Yellow Card concert, and it wasn't even, like, heavy bands that were playing. They were, like, basic, punk pop type of bands that were playing. We go into the pit, and it's fucking insane. Like, people are fucking killing each other. This fucking big guy, and I'm not lying when I say this big guy just starts running towards me, and he looks like and I'm like fucking 120 pounds with wet clothes on at the time. Guy's running towards me, looks like he's gonna fucking kill me. Zach just goes in there and blah, and fucking just lays him out, and Zach saved my life. And Zach's not a violent person, like he really isn't. He just like saved my life, and I was like, thanks, man. Thank you so much. So, but yeah, that was a very interesting one. And then, there's many other concerts we've been to together. So, we are gonna get to, if you don't mind, I'm probably gonna ask you some personal questions.
Okay.
So, I think 6 years ago, me and you were talking, and I asked you about, if you don't mind me saying, your mother. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, does your mom live with you or anything like that? And you told me she passed away like 5 years prior to that.
Yeah,
and at the time I did not know about it, and I felt terrible. At the time when I asked you that, how did you feel that I didn't know about it? First off, before I start asking more questions.
I mean, it's not something that I usually tell people up front because it's a tough conversation starter. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable thing for me to really talk or think about.
Right.
I mean,
at that time, I'll be honest, I felt so bad when I asked you about that because I did not know, So again, I apologize for your mom, and again, from 2 years ago, I apologize for your dad as well. Can you talk about how your parents were like growing up with you, like how they were as parents, if you don't mind me asking you that?
They were excellent parents. I mean, mostly the person I am today is thankful. If I could speak that sentence, I'm the person I am today because of them, and I'm very thankful for it. I mean, my childhood was filled with awesome things. Like, my parents used to let us roam free from the house, build tree forts out in the woods. We obviously had the infamous streetlight rule, right? Mm-hmm. Streetlights come on, you get back inside.
Yeah. I
mean, that's the kind of childhood that I grew up with, and it was incredible.
Nice.
I mean, and they always let us, play their video games. Like, they had the old school Nintendo system.
The Super Nintendos.
Yeah. They used to let us play those, and it was super cool. That's how I started with, like, the video game type of deal.
Yeah.
And they always let us play video games as much as we want. Unlimited internet access, which some people say is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I would agree, but whatever. Whatever. And they always let us, try different things, like, obviously, like, riding bikes and sledding and the regular stuff, but also, like, if we ever wanted to do sports or different types of music. My dad was big into music, so he just had, like, what was it called? 8-track player.
Yeah.
And he used to just give us the cartridges for it, basically.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name. Probably right on the tip of my tongue, but whatever.
Yeah.
And we would just listen to those. And
nice.
He had a cassette player, same deal.
So your dad was pretty much like the music aspect to your life, pretty much, would you say?
More or less, yeah. And he was always into, like, Aerosmith and Black Sabbath and, the hard rock at the time. I don't know why I did hard rock, because it's obviously hard rock.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Obviously, they didn't have, like Bring Me the Horizon back then.
Right. Like, back then, it was like the Led Zeppelins.
Right.
The Aerosmiths, like you said, or the Black Sabbaths, or, like all the Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
In the day. Metallica, AC/DC, all that crazy shit. That's crazy, man. It's funny because I think it was like on Facebook or something. There was like a picture of you and your dad, your brother, I believe. I can't remember. There was a picture that was like on Facebook or something that I saw at your house. I can't remember. And I see your dad just like in a business suit kind of deal and just like, in a tie. And I was like, now that you're telling me that, I'm like, I would have never thought that guy would be into like the rock music.
It's just the way it is. I mean,
that's crazy.
When he wasn't coming home from work and, doing the 9 to 5 type of deal, it was just usually the same thing I'm doing, sweating, t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah. He was always a busy guy because I remember we've been friends for 12 years and God bless his soul. I never got to meet him. Was he just always like a busy guy?
Very personal. Like, very shy, I guess.
Yeah.
Just didn't enjoyed his personal space. How about that?
Fair enough. Because I think I've only been to your house when you did live with him about a few times, and every time I went over, he wasn't there, so I was like...
Yeah, back when I lived in Hudson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one time that you lived in Nashville, too.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
That was a crazy time at the time.
That was a very crazy time. That was...
But what kind of personality would you say your mom had at the time?
Very bubbly.
Very bubbly.
Always gave my brother and myself a lot of praise. Always kept us in line, which is definitely a good thing. That's where I get my, you need to get your shit together type of personality.
It's weird. I still haven't seen that from you. Sorry.
It's mostly directed towards myself because she would always be on our ass about like homework and, did you make sure your homework's done? Did you make sure you had breakfast this morning? Those types of things.
Yeah.
Always made sure we were on top of ourselves.
Being a mom, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Doing her job. So.
She did it well.
She sounds like she was a very awesome lady, man. Seriously. Because I've known Zach for a long time as well. I've known his family. And as you know Jimbo, Jim Joss. And I know his family. It does suck that I never got to meet your family, but it is what it is. And again, I'm sorry for your losses, man.
Thank you.
I remember when I did find out the news about your dad. I asked right away for 2 days off just in case, just so I could be there for you. But I can tell like you needed some time away from people, which was understandable. But I did the whole basic, just hit me up if you need anything. And still to this day, like I try, like when we do hang out, I always say like, hey, how you doing? You doing okay? Like how's everything going? Because
that's the best that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's anybody that is watching this. That's the best you always can do. Just let people have their space, but always check in on them.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is that like I'm always going to be there for you, and I'll never ditch you out of my life in any way, shape, or form. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'll do always the same.
Yeah, and I know we have like busy life schedules. I said this with Zach. Like we probably see each other once or twice a month because of our crazy hectic schedules. But I'm always here for you, and hopefully you're there for me as well, man.
Always will be.
But
pinky promise.
Pinky promise, my love. But is there any other stories that you can think of that was hilarious too? Let's get to like happy thoughts now.
Happy thoughts. I think you should tell a story. Like, what was your graduation from high school like?
My graduation from high school?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Any good parties, stories?
Graduation, Jesus. I graduated. That was it. I mean, I wasn't like, I'll be honest, I wasn't like book smart like you and Zach at all. Like I did whatever I could to survive in high school. It was very hard for me to pay attention. I did the best I could. My GPA was 2.0. 2.0. Average at the time. When I graduated, I'll be honest, I did not know what I was going to do with my life at that point. I was just like, I'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get a job. Who knows what I'll do. But no, when I graduated high school, I was just like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to just wing it through and just hopefully I'll find something. But there was a memory that did come to mind. So I remember you came over to my house. And you knew, like, me and Zach's brother at the time, when we were friends, we would wrestle, like, a lot. Like, actually, like, grapple wrestling each other, like, chain wrestling.
Was this even before that you took the downstairs room? Was this your blue room?
Yeah, this is the blue room. And you came over, and you were like, hey, Brandon, I want to wrestle you. And at the time, I was like, Chris, I don't want to do that to you, buddy. Like,
yeah, I was at least 30 to 40 pounds lighter.
Oh, God. You're still. Just stop it. Stop it right now. No, it was just like he was more skinnier than me back then, still is to this day, and he wanted to wrestle me, and I was like, dude, if I wrestle you, I'm going to hurt you, and I don't mean that to be like mean, I just don't want to hurt you. So I remember like you were ready, and then you just jumped on me, and I picked you up, and I didn't even slam you.
It was so gentle.
I literally picked you up like this when you jumped, and I was just like, Chris, I can't do this to you, buddy. I'm gonna put you down. I'm just going to put you down.
It was very gentle.
It was. I was like, I can't hurt Chris. For some odd reason, like me and Zach's brother, we always like did that. Like we actually like slammed each other.
Yeah, like full force, right?
Like full force. Like we went hard in the backyard, like actually like wrestling, like real wrestling. But I was like, with you, Zach, or anybody else, I'm just like, I can't do that to them. Like, that's just terrible. Because I had like some wrestling background, I guess you can say.
Yep.
Back in high school. Was there any sports you did back in high school?
Cross country for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. To this day, I don't know why I gave it up because I loved it. It was great. I've never had so much energy.
It's crazy because I remember when I first met you, I was like, he looks like he does soccer, or he does like you said, cross country, or does like some kind of sport that does require like footwork. So yeah, why'd you only do it for 2 years at that time?
I have no idea. I loved it. I mean, if you run that amount every day, every week, blah, 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 you just feel instantly great.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you don't feel great once you're done running. Your legs feel like spaghetti and you can't breathe, but you feel great afterwards.
Right.
Like, I used to be able to hold my breath for almost 2 minutes.
Sorry, my gum fell out. But, wow, cross country.
I miss it. I miss it terribly.
I think
now if I do it where I live now, I'll just get hit by a car.
Yeah, you just... or if you stole something by accident and then the cops start chasing you.
Yeah, if I'm wearing a hoodie, it's over.
Hey, at least you're wearing a hoodie and they can't see what you're wearing.
That's true.
So, what is the one thing that you loved about me, you, and Zach's friendship? Because every time we're with each other, it's just like we have like this bond with each other, and just what is it that you like about it?
I think it's just that bond in general. I mean, I personally think I'm a pretty low energy person. Personally, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but I think that you and Zach just bring out like the best in me, as in like a social aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I can actually like
interact better, I guess you can say.
Right.
I see, like with you, like when you hung out with me, I never thought I saw that problem whatsoever. I thought you were always like a cool dude with me personally. Zach always worried about that too. I know I've been mentioning Zach a lot, but
it's all good.
Again, he's part of the Three Musketeers with us. So no, it was just like he had those worries that I remember too. He just I remember like one time he told me like, oh, I don't feel like I'm cool enough for you or whatever. I'm like, dude, you're cool. Like, why would you say that? You know? And probably you, for all I guessed, I felt like you probably thought the same way too. And
in the early years I did, like when I was, under 20. I mean, at this point, I think you're pretty much in the same headspace where you're just like, I don't care if I'm cool or not.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember one time we were at the mall and we were doing, I don't know, like Christmas shopping or something. I don't remember.
Right.
And there were at least 12 people that said, there were at least 12 to 14 people that said hi to you.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a single one.
Oh, God. Zach mentioned that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does. No, it's just, and the funny thing is, like, I'm more calm, cool, collect now. I'm more, like, goofy, trying to be, like, more of, like, an influence on people. Especially, as I like to call them, the teeny boppers at work, trying to give them, like, the best advices I can give them before, like, they go to college or something like that, like, focus on your schoolwork and stuff like that. But
makes sense.
It's weird, because it's still like that to this day, and I don't even try. And honestly, still to this day, and I'm 29, haven't worked there since 2014, is 2022 now. Mm-hmm. People still to this day remember me at Spencer's. I'm not even joking.
Same people that you worked with and everything?
No, I guess it was just customers or whatever, because I used to work there like all the time because I was trying to get in the hours and trying to get as much money as I could to survive, because the money at the time was not good. So
right.
But yeah, a lot of people would be like, "Didn't you work at Spencer's?" I'm like, "God, I haven't worked there in like 7 years, and you remembered me there? Like, what the fuck?"
That is crazy.
That's insane. That's insane. But yeah. But I don't know. I get along with everybody, I guess. But now that I'm a little bit older and more wiser, some of the people I did hang out with, nothing against them, but you definitely see like the true side of certain people, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done with you. I don't want anything to do with you personally. Just keep it at that.
It's one of those things, people grow apart, I guess.
Yeah, it happens.
I mean,
like I just recently I saw some friends that I haven't seen 6 years, and I used to hang out with them like a lot during like middle school and high school and even elementary school. It was cool hanging out with them, but it was just like we're all different now, and just they have kids and they're all married, and me, I'm just newly engaged and never had a kid, so I'm just like, when they talk about these things, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm still learning about this stuff, still learning how to be an adult here, but I've came a long way since then. So
I would say so.
Yeah, maturity, I guess, a little bit.
I would definitely say so.
Yeah,
because I remember the old days.
Yeah, you want to explain those stories? I'm not explaining the story. You can explain those stories. I have no problem. Listen, we've been friends for so long. If you said something that was like you thought was going to hurt my feelings, I'll be like this. Yep, that was me back then. It's not going to hurt my feelings. So if there's some kind of situation you want to bring on camera, go right ahead.
I don't have any specific situation.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have anything that's popping up at the moment. It's just, I mean, if you were to look in a mirror, or if somebody was to stand here and there was, 5 years ago, I would say 7 years ago, Brandon.
Yeah.
And then current day Brandon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. A lot of partying at the time 7 years ago. A lot of partying. Yeah, those were different times. I'm sure I'll mention that on different episodes of the podcast if people wanted to know stories. But yeah, it's funny. I'm trying not to talk about myself too much here, and I do apologize for that.
It's all good.
But at the time for me, dude, it's weird because when I uploaded the first episode of the podcast, there was this person, and like I mentioned this earlier, before we went on the air. This person hit me up who is married to a guy named Justin West that I mentioned on the first episode of the podcast. And I used to pick on him all the time. And I felt bad, and I mentioned that on the podcast. And I appreciate everything he does now because he's married, has a kid, has a full-time job, doing everything right. Mm-hmm. And I felt bad for the way I treated him back then. So I guess he said something to her or to his wife that I knew back in high school, and I guess she and other people did not like me, probably because I was a douchebag. I really was. I was a piece of shit at one point in my life. And she just randomly hit me up after the podcast was up, and she said, I remember I left a comment on your Facebook page like a long time ago, and I want to truly apologize. And I was like, oh, you don't need to apologize at all. I was a different person back then. I was a douchebag. I said this, all I cared about was myself. I didn't care about others in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
With my friends, I tried to be the best friend I could, but I never thought of, their feelings, you know what I mean, at the time? How to, be a better friend. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then it was just wow. But thank you. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys had a good New Year's with your family, But that's how I was. I guess I just...
Well, that's a good example of how you've matured.
Yeah.
If you were still in the same mindset as back then, it would just be, Facebook comment fights.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for the girl that's living here with me, she's upstairs now. We're downstairs. Legendary Man Cave is always going to be downstairs. If it wasn't for her getting my shit together, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now, to be completely honest. Nothing against the family, nothing against the parents. Just, she helped me get to where I need to get to. So, thank you, Kat. Shout out to you, my beautiful fiance. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay. I understand.
Partly. What do you mean partly? Listen, every time I want you to do the fucking laugh, you won't even do it. You probably won't even do it on this podcast. Why?
No.
Why?
Nope.
We're having our first argument right now.
I'm not doing it.
I'll be
not
honest.
On the podcast.
Listen, we've been friends for 12 years. I don't even think we really had an argument. We probably had one disagreement. Other than that, no arguments.
The disagreement, I remember that one. That's when I was wasted at Boston Billiards.
I was worried about you that day. I had a shitty way of showing it, but I was worried.
Yeah. Looking back on it, I know you were worried, but obviously, my brain was turned off, so I didn't recognize it.
I'll be honest, and we won't get more into that, but and Daniel, you met Daniel.
Yeah, he was here
during Christmas.
Yeah.
And you met him during the engagement when I asked Kat to marry me.
Yeah.
Big Daniel. So, for some odd reason, when I worry about people now, it's not like I worry about them, be like, are you okay, sweetie? Are you all right? I get fucking angry for some odd reason. I don't know why. I get really mad, and I'm just like, why are you doing this to yourself? I don't fucking understand. That's my way of caring. And then just give me a couple minutes, and I'll be like, dude, you got this, man. I'm here for you, bro. You're gonna be okay. But in my mind, I'm like, why am I getting angry about this shit? I should be more do you need anything? Be more compassionate, I guess. But it is what it is. So, all right. Before we sign off, is there anything you would like to say?
I always appreciated that you've been in my life. You've been a big factor in my life.
Why is that?
I think you've helped
Before you
me.
get me crying.
I don't have a tissue, but there's a sock you can use.
Oh, great. That's my sock. It's probably dirty.
Excellent. I think you've helped bring out the social aspect of myself, because obviously, 12 years ago, I wouldn't even be able to do things like this. Obviously, like, the job and everything helped me grow up and everything. But I think if I didn't meet you, and I didn't meet Zach, and I didn't meet, evidently all the people that you've even introduced me, I think my life would just be drastically different.
Well, like I said, man, when I first met you, I thought you were a fucking cool character. Yeah.
Boy, were you wrong.
Huh?
Boy, were you wrong.
No. Like, honestly, dude, like I said, when I first met you, I thought you were cool as shit. I thought you had a great personality. I never thought you were boring. I thought you were always interesting. And like I said, and I said it before and I'll say it again, you were probably if not the hardest worker. I know the and the are probably the two of the same things. But anyways, my vocab is terrible, guys, okay? It's very terrible, especially when I got the mild concussion. My words are kind of fucked up. But I got to say, you were the hardest worker I have ever met in my entire life, besides, like, my father or other family members. But you really are, man. I mean, I never met anybody who worked a job, like, full-time while he was going to school full-time. Never heard that before. And you're working a job with the pretty much with the bachelor's degree pretty much that you got for the job you're doing now. And I'm not going to say what you do for work.
Yeah, we'll have to keep that one off.
Yeah, we'll keep that off there. But, and I'm just so happy for you. You're definitely a good influence on people on wanting to do better in life and trying to show, like, if you work hard at it, anything can be fucking possible. So
there was one thing I took away from cross country, and I think I'd said this phrase to you before. Probably when I was drunk, but I said it at some point. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
That is well said, my friend.
I've always kept that in my head.
Yes. That the best line I ever heard, honestly. I definitely agree with you on that one, man. But, Chris, I want to say, seriously, thank you for your time to do this podcast with me.
Thank you for hosting, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, not a problem. I hope I didn't talk too much about myself.
You
I try
fine.
not to. I really do. Like, when I have a conversation, I try to hear people out. I'm trying to do better on my, like, interacting skills, on listening to others and stuff. But
I do that same thing, too. I mean, I barely looked at the camera, so.
That's a good thing, because I have that problem. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, Chris.
Yeah.
How you doing? No, but it's just, I don't know. I like looking at myself.
Oh,
yeah.
Totally understood.
Look at myself in the mirror, check out this 2-cent guy right here. But no, seriously, thank you for being on this podcast. I appreciate it. And 12 years of friendship. I know it doesn't beat Zach's with 15, but 12 years of friendship is up there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we're doing handshakes? Like, fucking give me a hug, you fuck. Come on. But seriously, thank you for being a friend. All right, now I'm going to close out like this.
Excellent.
Guys, thank you for watching the podcast. I do appreciate it. And if you guys want to check out more episodes, I got more on Facebook. You can check me out on Facebook, B13 NerdCast Randomness. Put a follow. Press the follow button. Just like that, like the way Chris is doing it. Press that follow button. Also, you can check me out on YouTube if you want to hear better quality of the podcast. You can follow it on youtube.com// B13 NerdCast of Randomness. And you can follow me on Instagram, just putting random pictures on of anything and probably just letting you know when the next podcast will be up. It'll be B13 Nerd. Yeah, that's my that's my Instagram. Handle. That's my Instagram now, so it's B13 Nerd. But yeah, you can find me out on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. If you have any information, hit me up. I don't give a fuck. Hit me up anytime you want. But again, Chris, thank you for being on this podcast, and I think it's time to let the motherfucking dogs out.